Hey everyone, thank you for watching another episode of In Studio. I'm Brian Parika. Today we have Justin Hartley, and together, this is us.
That's right.
I've been practicing that joke all week.
I think it worked.
I'm glad it landed.
It's about the timing. It landed perfectly. I feel everybody at home just laughing.
Just laughing their ass off right now. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, man.
Today we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Jumping right in, what can you tease about the season 2 finale? Kate's wedding. Is Kate going to go through with the wedding? What can you tease for fans?
You know what? I'll tell you that I hate to give spoilers, obviously, because I just feel like it's not fair. But I will tell you that it is, in the obvious things, like it's a very emotional show. I was able to see pieces of it today. I haven't seen the whole thing all put together, but I was able to see pieces of it today, and it's very. I will tell you that I think our writers did a very good job of what I think is a huge task, which is taking a season like our second season, which was full of sort of deep dives into these characters, and then making the finale worthy of quote unquote being a finale, right? Because there's some pressure that comes with that. I think that everyone's like, well, everything's got to kind of wrap up a little bit, and it's got to be great, and it's got to be big, but it's got to embody the show. They did a really good job of that. That's
awesome. Now, showrunner Isaac Aptaker, he told us that in Kevin's sobriety, he's kind of using the wedding as like a focus. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of talk about that and that him and Randall are going to be like the co-wedding coordinators?
Yeah, so
How is that going to work out?
Well, one of the things that Kevin is doing, I think, is staying sober. Yeah. And he's figured out that, idle hands are not good for him right now. So he needs to keep busy and keep focused on things and sort of always have a task or a chore. And so he's diving right into this wedding planner thing. So he's not a wedding coordinator. He doesn't know really what he's doing, but he's got the time and he loves his sister and he wants to make up for, I think, his father not being there, her father not being there. So, because he should have been there. It's not fair. And so he's trying to make it as, he's trying to be Jack Pearson's son. He's trying to be his dad and make it as perfect as he can for his sister, who he loves very much. So, and he's doing that with tons of help from Randall. And I think Randall's going through, he's got his own things going on as well. Going through a lot. So Kevin's got a little more time to focus on the wedding, I think, than Randall does. Randall's like sort of running around, like a crazy person. But together, they'll figure it out, hopefully.
Now, the last, I guess, This Is Us wedding, where everyone was at, was your own. Who was the best dancer at your own wedding, and what was that kind of like having everyone there?
Were
you the best dancer?
I'm like a world class fool. No, I'm not a great dancer. Who's the best dancer at my wedding? Well, my wife's a really good dancer, actually. But of the This Is Us crew,
This Is Us cast, yeah. This Is Us cast and crew.
Gosh, Susan, Sterling, and I was out on the dance floor for a really long time, to be honest with you, more than probably there
was like
in
a
my life.
Photo of you and Sterling together.
Breaking
it down.
Yeah, kind of breaking it down.
Breaking it down.
But it's hard to say. I mean, maybe the three of us. Chrissy danced her took us off for quite a while. I mean, we had a bunch of people out on the dance floor for quite a long time.
Who was the worst dancer?
The worst?
Yeah.
Gosh,
dancing's not for everyone.
Of all the dancers, who is the worst dancer? I don't know, man. I think they're all pretty. They've all got rhythm. Yeah, everyone's got rhythm. Dan was out there. Everyone's good.
Now back to Kevin's storyline this season. It's been so emotional, like many things on the show. Throughout the storyline, like it really does hit you in the gut watching it. Mm. You feel for him. In tackling the story of addiction, did you do any research for it, and what were the biggest challenges for it? Yeah, I mean, I think
I think you should. I think you have to in every single thing that you do, especially something like this. I mean, I try to study and work and figure things out as much as I possibly can in anything that I'm doing, especially acting-wise. Yeah. But for this in particular, it was important for me and for the writers, for everybody involved, that we told a story that's honest and not necessarily clean. And that has like a resolution at the end.
It's real.
It's real. Yeah. And this is something that so many people are dealing with. And it's not something that goes away. And it's not something that you deal with on your own or you resolve on your own. It's something that you need help with and something that you continue to deal with. So for Kevin, and I think we nailed it. I mean, I think we told an honest story. that people can relate to, and hopefully, if there's anyone out there going through anything like that, hopefully they can look to this show, this story, and maybe it inspires them to call someone.
Yeah.
Maybe it inspires them to get help. So those were sort of the things that were important to us, was to tell the honest story, as dirty as it may be, as sad as it may be, as deep and sort of alone as this guy, might bottom out. I think it was important to tell the story that way.
Now, season 2, it's such a big story for Kevin and for you as an actor. What was your reaction in getting this story and getting to play this role?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a huge responsibility. I was honored, humbled, and excited, at the same time, because as an actor, you want these roles you hope to get a moment.
You have a lot of moments.
Yes, you hope to get one that you're like, wow, this is something that I can sort of sink my teeth into. And with this show, we all get these moments several times per episode. So it's really a blessing. But yeah, it was great. It was like, I have so much respect for the writers and for Dan and for the show and the network and the studio, the people that I work with, my co-stars, and to get, that storyline was very humbling,
Another kind of heartbreaking moment is Kevin's on track in his sobriety, and then he's kind of conquering his personal Mount Everest, as you say.
Right.
But then he kind of gets this moment where he thinks he's cut out of the Ron Howard film. Luckily, he's not cut out, and he's actually given a bigger role. Ron Howard tells him to buy his tuxedo.
Buy his tuxedo, yeah.
How will the success of Kevin kind of change him and having more success? Will that affect the sobriety, having all this attention and more success?
I hope, I hope
I see that. I personally see
that's
that.
That's a really good question. Yeah. That's a great question, and I guess it could go either way. I mean, the truth is I don't know, but I think just sort of in my mind's eye, it could go either way, right? I mean, you've seen people that sort of go off the rails when things like that happen. I will say that I think Kevin's different in that now he has not only the tools to deal with this, but I think he knows how to, like, what the tools do and how to use them. So I think he's equipped with what he needs to manage his sobriety and manage his addiction and all of that kind of stuff. I also think, in going through the success that he went through and then sort of losing it and then getting it back, I think there's sort of there's a better understanding when you've gone through the bitter part of things, the understanding the sweet part of things. So I think maybe that's also in his head, and I also think he's just more mature. I think he really is trying to be this man that he thought his dad always thought that he could be. So I think he's on the right path, and I think he's sort of. I think he's gonna. I hope he's okay. Yeah. But people slip up. So.
Exactly. Yeah. With the seemingly success of the Ron Howard film, and for Kevin, how will this change the family dynamic and him kind of being more successful?
Yeah, he's probably got to buy more dinners. Yeah, man. Right. Probably got to buy more family dinners.
But the relationship between him and Randall. Him kind of being more successful than Randall, maybe? Or?
I don't know if it's that. I think maybe that, like in the beginning when we met Kevin, I think you saw this guy that was always trying to put on, right? Accept me, accept me, accept me. Look at how many people know my name. Look at the fancy restaurants that I go to. Look how important I am. When people tell you how important they are, that's the first sign of insecurity and that person doesn't really think they're that important. They're telling you constantly. Important. Right. You were constantly telling me before I sat down. That's what you keep saying. That's what you keep saying to me. No, but you know what I mean. When people keep telling you how important they are, it's like, okay,
there's something
going on there. So I think he's calmed down a little bit. He's getting more comfortable in his own skin, and so I don't know if he's defining success, life success, with his career necessarily, and I think that he does want career success, but I think he understands that there are more important things than being famous and making a lot of money on screens and things like that. So
now, in your own career as an actor,
I'm so important.
It's so important. Will we be seeing you work with Ron Howard at all? Has that been thrown out in the universe?
I'd love to. And the interesting thing is Ron
has done. It has to happen.
Yeah, Ron's done 4 episodes of our show, maybe. so far, something like that.
He's like a supporting role.
I've never worked with him.
Yeah.
It's always on the phone.
Call, yeah.
The only time I worked with Ron was he came in, the first time he worked with us, he came in on a Saturday. He gave us his Saturday to do the phone call bit where he calls Kevin.
Yeah.
And I came in to read with him because I wanted to work with Ron Howard.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, obviously I didn't need to be there. It was a phone call, and he's a professional actor. But I was like, no, I want to come in and I want to work with Ron Howard. So I came in and did that, and then everything else has been, I guess, a phone call. He's busy, He's like doing, Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, Solo. So it's hard to get him. But,
so you're not in the Han Solo movie?
Not as of now. No. Are they done with it?
I don't know. Maybe I feel like they could fit you in. Ron's definitely watching this. Ron,
I'm available,
make
buddy.
it happen.
We don't go back. When do we go back? We go back July. We go back in July.
Oh, you have a nice little break.
Yeah, a nice little break.
Now, as an actor yourself, what part of Kevin's story in both seasons do you relate to the most?
A lot of it, actually.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's the job as an actor. You try to, and also, by the way, as a parent, you try to relate to situations as much as you possibly can. So, for me, certainly the career thing. I think everybody is sort of can relate to being judged or misjudged or marginalized or, you walk into a room and people look at you and they go, I know what that is. And it's just not true.
It's not, yeah.
It's not true at all. So I can relate to that as well and dealing with things and sort of with humor instead of confronting people.
Yeah.
But as we get older, we confront more people, I guess, right? You get more confident, I think,
definitely.
or something. It's more comfortable.
We're so important.
We are.
Last time I interviewed you, it was at the Bad Moms Christmas premiere.
Sorry about that.
Where you were hilarious.
I was an awful interview,
hilarious.
wasn't I? Oh, in the movie I was.
You were a good interview. What do you mean?
Oh, was a good interview?
Yeah,
oh, good.
I think so.
Good. You don't remember. That's how good I was.
No, you were great. But you were great in the film, and you played Catherine.
I thought it was a great film. Yeah, I thought it was funny.
You played Catherine Hahn's love interest, and you stick around in the end. Have there been talks about doing another movie, and would you want to go back?
I would love to do another one. You know what? I'm trying to think. We just finished it not too long ago, so I haven't heard anything about doing another one. But the movie, I had a blast with them.
It was so fun.
Yeah, they were great. There were actually a few days where I got to work with all of the women, and it was the best. I mean, they're hilarious and smart and funny, and for me, that was a fun role. A little bit of a departure, right?
Yeah, it was great though. It was funny.
I got to dance, baby.
Speaking of that, have you used those Santa dance moves at all in your everyday life?
No, I'm not stupid. I'm not. I'm not using those. That was a one and done. That was a one and done.
Never doing it again.
Never again.
Now, on the same day of the This Is Us season finale, the Justice League DVD comes out.
Okay.
And the reason I bring that up is because you are actually the original Aquaman when you played him in the unaired TV pilot.
Right.
Can you kind of tell us the story behind that? I feel like a lot of people don't know that you were Aquaman.
Well, like you said, it was unaired.
Yeah, unaired.
And so it was basically, gosh, I'll tell you the quick story behind it.
Yeah.
Al Goff and Miles Miller had this extremely successful show called Smallville.
Yeah, which you were on.
Which I was on.
Yeah.
And, well, before I was on it, they had, I guess it was sort of like a spin-off show where they would have sort of the same idea, but it would be based around Arthur Curry, Aquaman, instead of Clark Kent. And so they just had a casting process thing, and I ended up getting the job, and then we shot the pilot, and then the show never aired, and then they ended up putting it on iTunes, I think, at the time, and it got a lot of traction. And then because of the pilot not going, I was again unemployed. And Al and Miles called me, and I think I was on my way to Australia to do a television show. I forget what the show was, and they were like, "Don't go to Australia. We've got this idea. We want you to join Smallville." And that turned into, it went from like 8 episodes to 6 years.
Yeah.
So, it ended up being a great thing.
Now, in your career, looking back, is there a character you wish you had more time with? Aquaman.
Yeah, I do. I don't know if there's not one. I think that I don't know if there isn't one. I think I've enjoyed all of them. I wish I had more time with all of them.
Who specifically would you want to revisit?
Gosh, man, I think we had more of a story to tell on Emily Owens, MD.
Okay.
I know we didn't get a lot of viewers, but I think we had more story to tell. Jenny Erman's is a genius writer who I think had a lot more, like I said, a lot more story to tell with those characters. Smallville was fun.
No.
That would be fun to go back and do more of that, I think. Gosh, I can't think of one that I would not want to revisit for whatever reason,
Now, This Is Us is wrapped. there's a little break you get. What are your plans for the break? What are you?
I'm gonna do a little traveling.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a little traveling, and the wife and I. Well, I don't know. We might take a little jaunt to Hawaii. We might go to Europe as well, and then I always wanted to go to Australia, but we haven't taken our honeymoon yet.
Oh,
so
you have to do that.
Yeah, so we got married, and then we were still filming the show, so we didn't have a chance to do that. And then my wife has been busy, so now we're trying to like carve out like a couple of weeks where we can go, enjoy a beach somewhere or something.
That'd be awesome. Any final words before we go?
Final words to the audience?
Final words.
Well, thank you for watching, and we are not nearly as important as we claim. At least I'm not. He is.
It's so important.
And man, thank you for watching the show, and thank you for being such loyal supporters of the show. Thank you for giving us jobs, and for coming up to me on the streets and saying wonderful things and sharing your stories with me, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And we hopefully we'll do 30 or 40,000 more seasons.
Hopefully. Awesome. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.